cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese. Hey guys, it's Anne-Marie in the Emancipated Kitchen. How many of you read the New York Times piece on phthalates being in your blue boxes of mac and cheese? Gross. A lot of people have asked me, Anne-Marie, why are phthalates in our mac and cheese? Anne-Marie, how can I ensure that there aren't any phthalates in my mac and cheese? Anne-Marie, why are they putting this in our mac and cheese? Great questions, but they're all the wrong questions. The real question here is, why are you making mac and cheese yourself? So I'm going to show you how to do that today. I got a really simple recipe for a mac and cheese that happens all on your stovetop with pantry items that you should have on hand. If you've emancipated your kitchen and you have a good pantry built, this should be something that you can whip up any night, anytime you or your kids or your boyfriend or the dog or whoever wants mac and cheese. So it's going to go together just as quickly as the stuff you get in the box. But guess what? No phthalates. I know exactly what's going into it because I'm making it myself. That's right. Okay, Informa.
Oh, hi, Chef.
Can you come on in here?
Yes, here I am. Here I am.
Thank you. Listen, will you throw up the mac and cheese recipe for me?
Yes, Chef.
Cool. So while Informa is bringing you the mac and cheese recipe, I'm just going to go over the ingredients. Obviously, we have got pasta. I've got some butter. I've got a couple of eggs. What's this in here? Mustard. Why is that in our mac and cheese? I've got some salt. I have some half and half, and then I've got a crap ton of cheese right here. How much better can you get? We know what all of these ingredients are. All of these ingredients have less than 4 words on their ingredient statement. So I think this is a mac and cheese that we can stand behind. No phthalates in any of this. Okay, so to start off, guys, I'm going to cook my pasta to al dente. It's an Italian phrase. It means to the tooth, which means that you want your pasta to still have a teeny tiny bit of bite to it when you pull it out of its water. I've got my pasta up to a nice rolling boil here. I've added a copious amount of salt. About 2 teaspoons are going into my pot here. My pasta is pretty neutral in flavor. People would actually say it's kind of bland on its own. So this is helping to season my pasta, but I'm gonna let this come up to a boil. It's gonna boil for about 6 minutes until it's al dente. I'm gonna drain it, and then once it's drained, I am ready to continue on with my sauce. So guys, for this dish today, I used gemelli, which is a short-shaped Italian pasta. It's what I had around my house. You can really use whatever pasta you want. If you have traditional elbow macaroni, you can definitely use elbow macaroni. But let's have Informa Bot come on in here. Informa?
I'm coming, here I am.
Hey, can you tell the folks at home some other pastas that they can use for this recipe?
Yes, Chef. You can use any type of pasta for this recipe. Anything that'll hold on to that cheesy goodness, like elbows, rotini, gemelli, shells, or experiment with other types and let us know how it turned out.
So what I'm essentially doing here, you guys, I'm creating a little custard. So I'm gonna start by just whisking up my eggs a teeny tiny bit with my fork here. I'm gonna go ahead and add my half and half, get that all stirred up, and my mustard. And then I'm ready to go. So what's the mustard doing in here? Oh, it's a beautiful thing. The mustard that I like to use, the dry mustard, is Coleman's. It's probably one of the only times you're gonna hear me mention an actual brand because I super support their product. Coleman mustard has a really nice bite to it, and it adds a lovely level of bitterness combined with sour, combined with some of that sort of horseradishy bite that just, it's in the background of your sauce. It makes just for a really lovely, interesting flavor component. Mustard also happens to be a great emulsifier, and since we are making a sauce here and we want our sauce to be creamy, it's nice to have a little mustard in there, as well as the lecithin from the egg yolks in there to also make this creamy. Okay, so I've got my pan on about medium heat, and I'm just gonna add my butter, and then I'm gonna put my pre-cooked pasta in here and give everything a little toss. I'm just gonna throw some pasta around the kitchen too, because you know, it's always a nice thing. When I see that all of the butter has melted away, I'm going to add my egg and milk mixture. And I'm gonna give it another little stir. Get everything nice and combined. Now what's gonna happen is I've got some proteins in those eggs that are going to help make our sauce nice and luscious and custard-like. I'm gonna stir and make sure that everything is incorporated, and then I'm going to begin adding my cheese. I'm gonna adjust my temperature just a little bit because I'm adding an awful lot of stuff to a fairly cool pan at this point. Gonna add the cheese a little handful at a time, letting it slowly melt before I add another round. So I'm gonna keep incorporating cheese and stirring until I get a really beautiful, luscious, cheesy sauce. All right, so I've got almost all of my cheese mixed in. I'm gonna put the last little bit in here and get that all melted in. So start to finish adding my cheese really took about 2 to 3 minutes, got fully incorporated. I'm adding my last little handful, and guys, that's it. So let me talk to you a little bit while I'm doing the last little bit of stirring about what makes this so successful. I know some of you have attempted to make mac and cheese at home and you've ended up with, you know, little separation issues, or you've got little rubbery balls of cheese throughout your mac, and it doesn't give you a beautiful, rich sauce. Basically, when you're making a sauce, a cheese sauce specific for your macaroni and cheese, you need something to emulsify the sauce. Even though you're working with something like milk, you're working with things that are already creamy. You have so much fat and protein in the cheese, and real cheese. I'm not talking about processed cheese food, which melts beautifully. I'm talking about real cheddar, real Jack, the real cheeses. Lots of fat, lots of protein. If you don't add an emulsifier and you just try to combine milk with cheese, what happens is the fat and the protein separates and you get that lovely layer of like kind of solid dairy stuff, and then another layer of kind of fat stuff, and then you're like pasta's in there somewhere, and that's kind of icky. So in this particular recipe, we used eggs, and again, kind of makes this rich custardy sauce, but you'll find that there are other recipes, and in fact, I have another recipe that I call grown-up mac and cheese, where I make a more traditional cheese sauce using a bechamel, and that uses flour as an emulsifier. Again, something to just bind everything together and make sure that your mac and cheese stays lovely and silky. So here you go, guys. This took no more time to make than the stuff in the blue box. It has nothing in there questionable. It's all good, delicious food. A scientist wasn't involved in making this dish today, which is what it's all about as far as I'm concerned. So please make this at home, enjoy it. Thank you, Alton Brown, for the original recipe. I am going to portion up a bowl for myself here and dig in. Let us know at theemancipatedkitchen.com how this worked for you, and keep working towards cooking it yourself, guys. Guys, this is really delicious. I wish you were here to enjoy it with me.
Mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese. Elbows, rotini, gemelli, and shells. Just pick the shape and it's all swell. Farfalla and penne, fusilli, campanelle. As long as the cheese sticks to the fella. Mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese.